Ready?
So the reason I'm running is that I guess this is a really good election to be running for the reason that I'm running, which is that we need to stay involved in Democratic Party politics because the C team takes over when we don't stay involved. And so, like, for instance, you'll find out after this election that there's going to be probably 0.1% of the members will have voted in this election. And that's going to happen not just here, but in states, all over the country. And not just for party political elections, but for city level, neighborhood level, state level elections. That's what's going on. People become less and less interested. And that's actually why I'm running, is because basically no one else was going to run, was the reality of the thing. And so I think it's important that we stay involved. And so I had to put my money where my mouth is, so to speak, and run for chair. That being said, I guess my platform would be bacon, which is always a good platform for everybody. But really, it's just our job is to do voter registration and ensure that our votes overseas are accounted. And I think the voter registration is the easier of those two jobs. The other one's a lot harder, making sure the states actually count our votes. And that's really, I think, the only way to sort of affect that is to interact with the international leadership and with the DNC members who are part of Democrats Abroad. Both activities I intend to try and take as much time as possible doing. I think that's the important thing. I guess that's about it. So I don't know if anybody has any questions. Yes?
What's your name?
Chris Shannon. That's probably pretty good. Pretty good question. Bacon for that guy. That's all I have.
Okay. Any other questions?
I sort of already kind of know, but I want to just let other people know. You're a diehard progressive and a liberal, as you said in your statement, but you used to be not so much, right? You were much more.
Well, I worked for, I was in the military and I was working for Reagan, basically, at the time, and voted for him twice. So things have changed, I guess you could say. But since then, my family has always been Democrats. But, yes?
Well, I'm just curious, why do you think it's important for people to stay involved?
I think the political structure of our country atrophies if we don't stay involved in it. And the strange thing happens, the leadership tends to start thinking that we all work for them. I think that's something they get constantly confused about. Yes?
Just for my own curiosity, you're a busy guy, you're working, whatever, 50, 60 hours a week. Are you going to have the time to sort of do this?
Yeah, because like I said, I think that the focus is voter registration. And there's some great people that are happy to go and set up tables and to do the registration. And we have more and more electronic means to do voter registration now. The other thing is really harassing the international leadership. So one of the reasons I decided to do it was I made the decision to make sure I had enough time to do those two tasks. And I think that those are the important part of this job as chair. And also, I guess I gave up. I haven't actually given up, but basically I'm the commander for the local VFW post here in Tokyo. But the post is, the guys are all getting quite old, and so the amount of time that I spent on that is getting much smaller now. So I'm going to take that time that I've been using for that and put it into Democrats Abroad.
In your candidate statement, you mentioned the need for us to push our issues up to the, I don't know, like leaders or something in Washington, D.C. And I totally agree with that. I sometimes wonder how we can do it, and I'm just wondering, is there some concrete steps that you think that we can take to push them forward? Well,
it's a challenge. I think the important thing is showing up, and that's part of why I'm running, is I think that we have to show up. But it's going to the meetings, and basically just asking them the uncomfortable questions, right? my Conda came and getting their position on these things and getting an idea of, just basically giving them pushback, because like I said, they tend to start thinking that we work for them, and so they'll get these ideas in their heads like, oh, these Occupy Wall Street hippies, they're terrible. When are they going to go away? And they'll ask us these questions, and it's our job, I think, to push back on them and say, actually, you've got that all backwards. We need to be supporting them and that sort of thing. It's just, I think, just going to these meetings and harassing them, or even just via email, asking them the questions. Why are we not supporting these people? Why is there no Democratic leadership right now standing up and saying, where's the president on these Occupy Wall Street things?
Yeah.
They haven't made
Yeah.
a single statement for the guy, right? And part of their frustration is with him, so. Yes.
I know that you are a member of the Veterans and Family Council, Veterans and Military Family Council on the DNC level. Are you going to stay in that seat, and do you have any goals or ideas about, we've talked in the past about there being a lot of veterans in Asia. Are you going to push forward on those issues as well in your capacity as chair?
Absolutely. The council, this is one of the problems with the council, not to air dirty laundry, but part of the problem with the party is that there's a lot of these sort of cushy jobs where the guy who's running it is just given that job, so it's a title. So he's this retired colonel who never actually was in combat, nor actually commanded troops, but he's an old-time Democratic Paul, and so they gave him this job as head of the Veterans and Family Council. And what he basically does is absolutely nothing. And he goes to the meetings, and he'll show up late, and then he'll chair the meeting and just nod a lot and say, oh, those are all great ideas, thanks very much, adjourn, and that's the end of it. And that's part of the problem with the council itself, is that it's just, the guy doesn't do anything, he has no intention of doing anything. It's just all sort of like, oh, maybe this is some way we can get veterans to give us money to give to candidates, kind of a game. So I hope that we can make some changes. And I think there's plenty of people in the council who want to try and do something, but there's nobody really sort of forcing them to do that. And maybe as chair, I can sort of affect more change by asking our leadership, Democrats' international leadership, why aren't we doing anything? Why does the council actually not really do anything? So yes.
Great.
Anybody else? Why don't we move on then to vice chair? Thank you very much.
Just for the record, there is someone else running for chair. He could not be at this meeting, but his candidate statement is included with your ballot. It's also online and on the Facebook place and Meetup and stuff. So please take a look at the other candidate for chair when you have a chance.